A lot of big news dropped this week, and for once it's in the movie space and not the apocalypse space, which is fun to talk about. I thought it'd be a good conversation. We've got a new Bond director, a big director coming back to the Transformers franchise, and a popular movie, one of the best movies of the century, I would argue, getting a sequel that I think, for once, is very necessary. Let's break it down. We've been kicking around different directors for the James Bond franchise now that it's owned by MGM Amazon for a long time, and they've been discussing who it's going to be. Christopher Nolan, Edgar Wright, all kinds of big name directors. We need somebody British. That's what everybody was saying. We got to have a British guy.
British guy or no guy?
Cheerio.
We need a fine young chap.
But I'm sure you've heard, Steve, that Denis Villeneuve has been chosen.
I have heard.
What do you think of this? I want to steal your take. I just want to see what you think before I say my take.
It's interesting because I know Denis will do a great job because he's an incredible director and everything he makes ends up working great. However, selfishly, I would prefer that Denis Villeneuve does his own thing, and he seems to be locked in other IPs. Like he was stuck with Dune and then Blade Runner. And now he's going to Bond, and I kind of just wish he would do Denis.
So that's, I don't know why I did that. So you're saying, despite whether or not you're not even going with the angle of whether or not you think he'll do Bond justice. You're thinking, will Bond do Denis justice?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a valid take, but I would counter that what he has done with those other franchises is some of the best shit we've ever gotten.
Agreed. Yeah, he's incredible.
Dune rocks. Blade Runner 2049 rocks. But I wonder, now Denis Villeneuve is one of the greatest directors working today. He literally has zero misses, right? You've got Blade Runner 2049, you've got Prisoners, you've got, of course, the Dune movies, Sicario. But I think it's interesting because what we've gotten, how big of a Bond fan are you?
Like a middling Bond. I've seen all the Bonds, I enjoy all the Bonds, but I'm not like an expert.
I don't think I've seen all the Bonds. I've seen a lot of Sean Connery Bond. I grew up on Pierce Brosnan Bond. Really, I grew up on Nintendo 64 Bond. And I love the Daniel Craig era the most. But I don't think that's like a true blue diehard Bond fan take, right?
Yeah, I think most super fans of James Bond would be kind of miffed if you said Daniel Craig was your favorite Bond.
Yeah, I think at the time it was right when Nolan was doing it with superhero movies, and he was making these grounded, dark, gritty superhero films that seemed to be the mold going forward that Zack Snyder took a little bit too far. And I think something about Bond is inherently sexy, yes, but also silly. And that's something that we lost in the Daniel Craig era. And if you're gonna do Bond again, which inevitably we will because it's a huge franchise, I do think it should be, as much as I love those movies, a little more flirty, a little more fun, and less grounded and gritty. And I don't know that Denis Villeneuve is the guy to do that. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense. He usually takes everything he does very seriously and tries to bring it into the real world. And he does it in a way that makes us who live in the real world empathize with the characters more. But I don't know, to your point, I don't know if that's what the Bond franchise needs in the moment.
Yeah. And, counterpoint to my own argument, Dune Part 2 is really funny. So maybe he does have those chops, and it's definitely going to look gorgeous. It's definitely going to have an amazing score, and the action's going to be awesome. So I'm super excited. I just, in general, would not have thought about this tactic. But he claims that he's a longtime huge fan of the Bond franchise. He can do anything he wants at this point. So he's got to be passionate and excited about making these Bond movies in order to take this job. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Would Timothée Chalamet be James Bond?
I hope not. Surely not, right? Surely not.
I mean, no shade against Timothée.
Everybody knows that Aaron Taylor Johnson has that Omega Watch deal. That's the Omega Watch 2025 that we're all waiting for that announcement. People have been crying for Henry Cavill to be Bond for so long, and I really don't think that's the way to go with this, and I don't think that's what will happen. It should either be somebody on the fringes of the A-list, like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he would be a good choice, or somebody completely unknown that they've just discovered. Like, hey, you guys don't know it yet, but this is Bond. That's what I would like to see happen. But other big news, Steve, have you heard that Michael Bay is returning to direct another Transformers film. This news just dropped yesterday as we're recording.
No, it's not. No, he's not.
You haven't heard this?
No, I have not heard this.
Yeah, he really is. He's supposed to be returning for, I think, a seventh film. He has not directed a Transformers film since The Last Night, which was...
To what end? Has he seen all the other Transformers movies that have come out since he left and thought, nope, Daddy's got to come home and get his house in order?
That's right. Now, I'm in for some Bayhem, me personally. I think Ambulance was phenomenal. So many drones. My face is still not healed from the melting of that movie. And I've been wanting to rewatch the entire Transformers franchise for quite a long time. I am a pretty big fan of the first movie. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I want to rewatch. People are like, Dark of the Moon is so fucking good. Like, I've got a lot of friends that just love Dark of the Moon. I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in that movie. So I'm excited to like see what happened. And I know you're a fan of the franchise.
I love Transformers in general, yeah.
Yeah, just Transformers in general. Like Starscream.
Starscream is my favorite Transformer, yeah. I love that catty little asshole.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Bumblebee called and said his movie didn't perform as well.
Bumblebee fucking rocks, though.
Dude, that movie does rock. Bumblebee is low-key the best Transformers movie
I think so, too. People won't agree, but I think so, too. So I'm pretty excited about this news. I do think it's funny and kind of random. But I'm curious. I'm curious and curiouser. What's going to...
Is it the beginning of like a new like trilogy or series of movies, or does he just miss it and wants to hang out with the Autobots again?
I don't know. Maybe he's just tired of directing Six Underground, and he was like, "Oh shit, give me back." I know he has a good time with these movies. As far as I know, it just dropped that he's dropping another Transformers movie. We don't know what the plans are as far as the franchise is concerned. I didn't really like Rise of the Beasts, and Transformers 1, the animated film. People love that movie, but I thought it was fine. All of the ones that have not been directed by Michael Bay have made significantly less than all of the ones that were directed. So
yeah, but most of them seem to have a little bit more of a higher rating, at least critics wise.
That's not what matters, baby. You know what fucking matters? Money. So the first Transformers in 2007 made $709 million, and that's in 2007 dollars. That's got to be at least 17 billion today.
That was a fun movie.
2007. That was like 80 years ago. Revenge of the Fallen, 2009, 836 million. Dark of the Moon, baby, was the peak. That was 1.123 billion with a B.
That's a good one too.
That's right. You like that one?
I do like Dark of the Moon. It is, it suffers from what they all suffer from. They're too goddamn long, but that one was fun.
People fucking love that movie. I desperately need to rewatch it. And then Age of Extinction was also over $1 billion. And then Last Night only made $605 million, which was a huge disappointment at the time comparatively to all the other ones. That was the last one that Bay directed. Bumblebee only did 467 million. You can't not do that if you say Bumblebee. I also kind of always want to do a Bumblebee tuna.
Ace Ventura?
Yeah. Nice. Right after I do Bumblebee, I have to throw the tuna in there.
Pardon me, your balls are showing.
Oh, you did Optimus Prime Ace Ventura.
Could you imagine Optimus Prime as Ace Ventura?
All righty then. And then Rise of the Beast, 441. And then poor Transformers 1, because nobody respects animation. We talked about that in our How to Train Your Dragon review. Any hoozle. I'm excited. Bring back the Bayhem.
I'll be upset, but I'll see it anyway because I love Transformers.
You can't make Transformers without propaganda and misogyny. It just doesn't feel right.
Propaganda and misogyny. Those are the two newest Decepticons coming to theaters next year.
And my third piece of news that I'm really excited about, I don't know if you heard this, Steve. I think you did. The Social Network, the landmark film from 2010, directed by David Fincher, written by Aaron Sorkin, nominated for 8 Oscars, winner of 3, is getting a sequel, Social Network Part 2.
Really? How
you didn't know this?
Where are they going to take Mark Zuckerberg's story next?
And I just wanted to talk about it briefly. I talked about it in short form on Instagram.
Is it about him taking native people's lands in Hawaii?
Hopefully it's about all of that stuff, right? Like the first movie was based on a Ben Mesrick book called The Accidental Billionaires. And I think is a genius movie, one of the most important and best made films of the 21st century. And there's so much more to the conversation to be had about the impact of Facebook and social media in general on, capital TM trademark culture, right? Like what we've done in society. And I think when you say things like, I saw so many comments that were like, when is Hollywood going to learn we don't want more sequels? first off, where would Hollywood learn that? It's certainly not at the box office. If you look at the top 100 highest grossing movies of all time, 5 of them, I think, are not based on some other previously made project or IP or tangentially related to IP in some way. And like 2 or 3 of those are based on historical events. So it's kind of like IP. Like Titanic's kind of IP, if you think about it. Like,
really,
like
yeah.
Anthropological IP. And so you got like Avatar and Frozen. And that's it of the top 100 highest grossing movies of all. So Hollywood's never going to learn because there's nowhere to learn that from. It's just not true. It's only true in comment sections that people don't want sequels. But also, like, that's not what we mean when we say we don't want sequels. There's so much more to be said here. So what we mean is we don't want cash grabs. We don't want films made by committee, people that care. That's what they mean, right? And this isn't even a real sequel. There's just like more shit to talk about. It's not like...
Yeah, the story of Mark Zuckerberg when Social Network first came out, and what was that, 2010?
2010.
You know, his story is still being written. And like you said, so much has happened that changes the way that story even ends in that movie. Like some people look at that movie and they're like, oh, they were too easy on Mark Zuckerberg. Sure. Definitely now with hindsight. So I would like to see them address that.
When that movie came out, it was just a couple of years after you stopped having to use an edu email address to have a Facebook, right? Like Facebook was on top of the world at that point, and it was kind of this expose on the character of the man who created it. And you'll never get a better tagline than that movie had, right? Like you can't get to 500 million friends without making a few enemies. And
that's a great tagline.
The whole structure of that film was about the trial betwixt, if you will, him and Eduardo Saverin, right? And now we've got this other trial because the second film is going to be loosely based on the Facebook files, which was published by the Wall Street Journal in 2021. And of course, it was after the Cambridge Analytica incident, and it was after January 6th, and all of the role that Facebook played when he was called before Congress. And so now we have that, and we know all of these dismal inner workings of the company of Facebook, and we know all of these negative ways that it has impacted society and moved elections. And so there's so much, I think, to this conversation. The only hesitancy I have, Aaron Sorkin, who won an Oscar for his 2010 screenplay for The Social Network, is coming back to write the screenplay again, but he's also directing it, which is my only reservation, because I think he works best when his brilliant screenplays are put in the hands of a really strong director. I did love Molly's Game, which he directed, and I like The Trial of the Chicago 7. I've never seen Being the Ricardos, but typically he's not the strongest director of his own screenplays, right? So that's my only reservation. David Fincher is not returning. Hopefully Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are returning to do the score. Ultimately,
that original score is incredible. I really hope they come back.
I think that this movie's going to work, at least enough that I'm really excited for it. And I don't agree that it's another unnecessary sequel. This isn't Furious 11. This is more to the story of what Facebook has contributed to the downfall of society. And it's ironic that I'm saying this on YouTube, and I don't care. I'm still saying it.
Yeah, everything you said about what's happened since 2010 really just sort of encapsulates the drama. Like, you mean we get to have people going in front of Congress testifying and all this like backhanded or back alley dealings and stuff like that? Like, that's some prime juicy drama that I would love to watch on a silver screen.
Did you say prime?
All my friends on Facebook are telling me that I should watch this video. What is this video, Bumblebee?
Do more research.
Vaccines are not the answer. RFK Jr. is telling me this.
Optimus, you've been red-pilled. Oh, no. So that's the big news. We've got more Bayhem coming, more Social Network coming, and Denis Villeneuve is taking over the Bond franchise, so Amazon can finally recoup that investment. But we're excited to watch all these movies. That's for darn sure. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out our podcast, streaming things wherever you can get your podcast. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Movies Are Therapy. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Don't go bald.
Or do.
I'm bald.
I'm not.